So,
So that's what I'm.
Helma, how about you?
Taking that, Nurun, as it's obvious that somebody here volunteered,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Nurun is going to try her best to keep him anchored
Mhm.
and provide a stable environment for both of them with the help of the people around.
Yes, that actually will be very, very useful and helpful.
You would be our
So,
safe space.
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
so the trait I'm using is the one I picked up on last time, sharing knowledge
Yeah. Yeah.
to benefit together.
I think so, especially because the conflict that you're going to be experiencing, literally experiencing yourself, is the difference between being entirely part of a collective versus being entirely alone.
Yeah.
That's that is the literal experience that you're going to be monitoring, the variables that you're going to be monitoring biochemically and quantitatively.
So what's probably happening is that both me and those sensu, we are switching responsibility for
Right.
the respective other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So while they have to monitor Tikken,
Mm-hmm. Or Divid.
or
Yeah.
sorry,
Uh-huh.
David, I have to monitor this nameless sensu.
Right. Right. So excellent. Yeah. Um fascinating. Okay. So this weirdness is going on.
Oh yes.
Now this actually between the two of you, I'm wondering if I should bend the system a little bit. 3 dice from me, and then you see, because having two rolls diminishes success, and this is something that should enhance it. So,
right.
and I typically try to avoid this in the pool, but I am interested in what traits you're going to use. The sharing with others, and then for Divid, what trait did you have in mind?
Well, I've got my Xenopharma Adept, or I've got one that's Navigate the Psychocosm,
Ooh,
or my Psychotropic Spiritualist.
well,
So,
this is what you get for having a gift for gab, Jerry.
right.
um, how about I do quite like the Psychocosm myself, but it could be any of them. Pick the big one.
Pick the big one. Well, the big one's the Xenopharma Adept,
That's
which, if I'm working with a different xenoform.
No, it works perfectly. Yeah, it works perfectly. We can say the others are all operative, but that's the one that gives you dice.
Right.
Right. So,
So you
mhm.
have
And
3 dice for that.
yeah, so in that case, what I'm thinking, and this is definitely bending the system, I'm going to let your results. Well, no, I'm not sure if it's bending at all. If either of you succeeds, the basic thing will succeed.
Oh,
It's just
well,
if one of you fails and one of you succeeds, certain negative effects will impact that one. That's what will happen. So you're both rolling, but these are effectively defense rolls, if that makes sense.
well, it's probably all going to be on Helmut because the last few games, I don't think I've rolled yet.
Yeah, well, you've definitely been the anti-one over there. Why don't you?
I have been.
Yeah.
It's terrible.
So, but anyway, that's 5 dice just to start for you. And I think you lost your pool die last time too, right?
Yeah, I'm down to whatever I'm rolling
Yeah.
and whatever dice you give me,
No,
which actually might be better for me.
Right. Well, let's see. I
5
said
dice?
3 dice. Did you have a +3 in that trait, by the way?
I have a +3. Yep.
6 dice total.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so, Helma, you have 3 base dice for me. And what trait are we talking about?
Trade is going to be benefit from each other, which gives me 2.
Okay, so that's base 5.
So that's base 5, and now I'm kind of okay.
Mm-hmm. And so how many thousands of pool dice are you going to drop into this?
I know.
She's going to be devastated if she loses that sensu. So 3 of them.
Okay.
4.
Okay, so let's let them do this, Renee, and then we'll move on to
Because
your
I
fun.
love my
Right.
character.
Yes, go for it.
This is insane.
Success.
Okay, Helma has succeeded, and Jerry has not. Okay.
I cannot get. Man, these dice, mean mistreaters.
Boy,
Can I just
you're
take one
protagonists
of
in this
these
game.
and send it over?
Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm really scared of what's going to happen to Hiver when we get there, Jerry.
Well,
Yeah.
you know what? He's a different, but I don't understand these dice.
Okay, so here's our situation, though. Helma, do you want to say what happens?
Given that this is combined, I think I want you to talk.
Oh, okay. Well, I was going to add in Jerry's failure as a
Or-
modifier.
Hmm.
So you could talk and then
Or
I add in
that-
Jerry's failure. Or you can do your. I get to talk about Jerry's failure no matter what.
Yeah.
Right.
You get to
That's
talk
right.
about Sherry's face.
That's
Then
what everyone loves to talk about, are my failures.
So, I
point is I don't
sadly,
want to.
Yeah.
I know. Sadly, I feel that way a lot personally. So I sympathize greatly.
That's right.
So
Okay, I actually I don't really want more dice.
okay.
I probably have to talk. At least start talking. So good. I'm so out of ideas. No, I'm taking the dice.
Okay. So
I
in
Well,
just
that
you could
can't
case-
get
also
anything
convert 'em.
together now.
Convert them into greater traits.
Mhm. So at the risk of merely drawing psychedelic underground comics, I think that we are
Fine.
definitely seeing the expression of the expression of this massive coalescence into a single space where you cannot be sure that what you mean is actually expressed to another. Right. So Divid is instead of knowing that, the influence of what he means and what he is thinking and what he sees is simply flowing out of him at all times to impact and commingle with those of others, you don't know if anybody actually hears you. You could try to express it, but that's all. And so and to know that your interpretations of what you're receiving are locked in your own mind, right? You receive what others give, but only tentative guesses at what they really mean or who they really are. So this experience of life is suddenly, hitting you. And at the same time, the psychonaut is receiving, is actually learning, is actually receiving now instead of just sending, and so is receiving exactly what you guys receive all the time. And those two minds then find each other because you're hooked up. That's when somebody takes this lead and says, okay, I'm ready to connect, dose them, and then the chemicals get injected into you, and then the lead is connected, and both of you experience each other's alien experience, right? So there's this massive feedback. It doesn't occur. The machines don't do anything. Machines are stupid. There's no sparking. There's no, just some data, get automatically recorded. Nothing too dramatic there. But at this point, reality changes from where you are and spreads through the room, and all of the people there, Senzu and Merkap alike, are experiencing this dual awareness of what it's like to be a Merkap and what it's like to be a Senzu. All of you have talked about that, but the reality of it is inexpressible, right? So this is occurring through, and it's traveling because it keeps impacting Senzu through simple physical proximity. And so this is occurring. The the thing that I'm seeing is that Divid is, your mind is frying basically, right? And so the psychonaut is desperately attempting to retrieve you, to keep you whole. But the net effect is that your physical form will in fact disassemble, and you'll only remain as a treasured nugget of identity held in that person's possession, right? So so you basically, technically you've destroyed yourself, in achieving this.
Right.
But okay, and right about this point, I guess, is when we go over to Dukan and see what happens just as this wave hits the temple.
Right.
Or can I say,
Yeah.
my God, it's full of stars.
Yeah, I know.
And then
or something. Yeah.
This got out of hand.
Or did it?
This is Dukan's happy spot. It's like, ooh,
Yeah, I'm just like,
You know?
ooh. Here
cultural,
we go.
psychological, hallucinogenic transfiguration.
Yeah.
You don't get that every Wednesday.
So yeah, I've got a few different things I'm struggling with. So I could, ideally I've got these social skills, and I could temper all this with actually just words, with actual communication, and kind of gathering everyone together as kind of a collective sense of self, through community, through their religion and their philosophy. So that's what I think I'd like to do. But I have that one trait I never use. I don't have any points in it, but it was become the hive also.
Right.
So the things that do.
The way that the pool works best for traits is if more than one trait applies, they do go into the role playing. You just pick the one you want for the dice.
Oh,
right.
Great. So yeah, just that combination of what Dukan had learned,
right,
with dealing with other people, still becoming one together, and but through use of social interactions. So that's what he's going to do. He's going to continue to do that and try not to use
the
any
hive
chemicals.
does seem like, I get that. The hive does seem like an interesting experience to use as a bridge between the Senzu and the Merkap experience, too. Because they're kind of in the middle. Yeah.
That'd be cool. So if I could I use the social skill? I have a social skill of 2.
Yeah. 2 plus 3 is 5.
Okay. I've got 2 dice left that I'll use for my pool. So that gives me 7. So there you go. Let's see what happens. All right. 2 successes. So that's great. So I got 2 ones out of that.
Excellent.
Happy?
Yes. And I'm very interested in what you think. I'm very interested in what you think this would do to the triple hegemony of Ununu and Velvelv and Monom, as the impact of this Senzu, Mercap reality that respects autonomy as well as connection.
Mm-hmm.
If that's the reality that is formed here, I don't mean to overtake your narration. I'm interested in what you think this does here on Mercap.
I would say everything becomes sharper and cleaner. Even though maybe the things almost become like less colorful or less kind of soft, around the edges, everything becomes really sharp and really in focus, and maybe even more contrasty. Everything just kind of gets super like clear.
Did you just teach the Mercap boundaries?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I just heard.
There's a line.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. And that the words that what's her name is
Kazi. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Kazi is speaking. They become crisper, and the enunciation is deeper and resounding, and hopefully those chemicals that were being pumped into them almost has a physical effect on that, where it almost becomes like water.
Yeah.
It just becomes nothing.
Yeah. Anti-Jesus. Instead of
Anti-Jesus.
Instead of water into smack into water. Right.
There you go. So they still retain their way of life or their philosophies, what they're trying to do, but with I guess on their own terms.
So
And
the way just to continue from that in a sort of larger sense of thinking about the next step, I think that this basically creates a form of looking at reality that is worthy to stand up against the hegemony that I talked about. And we don't know what will happen on Mercap, but that particular confluence of attitudes, which had been so powerful in response to the galactic peace, now has a different outlook to contend with.
I think that's a great way to put it.
Couldn't do it without you guys, that's for sure. And I want to say thanks. I think our Mercap story has done its deed. Right?
Yeah.
This was great.
Yeah, that was fun. That's everything I hoped it would be.
I think we're going to go lie down now.
Yeah. That to me reminded me of like the middle book and like a series where you're like, man, they get really weird in this one.
That's right. Yeah. It's like, is this more 70s science fiction? Because I think it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, no, yeah, they're all like those novellas. That's what I see. I see like, a little, dot paperback where I'm like, man, the third book in this series that was pretty deep, man.
Excellent.
So no, I liked it. I like the
Well,
more esoteric viewpoints in this one as opposed to
Well, the Avix
other-
is like solid, like social class conflict, excellent.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you all so much.
so looking
sharing
forward
this
to the
with me.
next.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the hive. Take care, everybody.
See you.
Hey,
Thank
yeah.
you for tonight.
Yeah, thank you
Bye, guys.
guys. I appreciate it.
Bye.
It's fun.